Welcome to our first demo day of 2022. We're really excited to be able to put these people in front of you and to be able to talk to you about what they're doing. I want them to be able to do most of that, but first of all, I'm just going to introduce the team. These are the people, you're probably very familiar with them. We have a few more joining the team and a few people doing different things, but really we've got a team of extraordinary folks. Some of them are more financial, I'm a networker, some people are more strong on the engineering side, but we really make a good team and hopefully we'll be able to bring a lot of great talent your way. Okay, so the environment, the community, as always, is bringing Xoogler entrepreneurs together. We do community events, we have a skill sharing network, we bring investors together, and we look at growing these companies and supporting them going forward. We have the whole community, we know them, they come to us. We're trying to form a community where people can come to each other rather than just always come to us. We are all volunteers. We do this because we love doing it. We love the energy of it. We think it's an incredible way to support new companies, to support our old colleagues, but also just to see things happening. I'm always intrigued by what's going to be next. So our Xoogler community, we've been building this up. This is going to be our next big adventure and big focus. We have a lot of interest in joining together, and whether it's for hiring or whether it's just to share skills or whether it's to make things happen, we really want to be able to connect people. And we've been using these two startups that were started out of Google as well, Polymer and Superlinked, and hopefully we'll be setting up a lot more events, whether they're virtual drinks connections or monthly in-person meetings. Hopefully we'll be able to meet up in person. Okay, so our syndicate is another way we've been supporting people. We've realized that the earliest stage startups sometimes need a bit of support, and we're now on our 8th raise, I think. So we raise anything between 80 and 500K tickets. We train angels and we provide the deal flow for them to get started. And of course, the startups benefit with a cleaner cap table, and hopefully there's fewer wire funds to chase. We've been doing all of that. So we've been learning loads about pro rata, loads about getting people involved, and really interesting work. So yeah, we just want to be able to continue to support. Okay, so I'm pleased to introduce Holly Stevens. Now, she is not one of the companies that's promoting herself this time. She was a company, a founder of a company called Subly, who presented with us last January. They have done exceptionally well. And I wanted to bring her back just to let her tell you her story, what happened next, hopefully for the startups that we're presenting to be able to communicate that or to be able to understand that as they go forward, but also for you investors to see what sort of companies we're going to be pulling through and what they can be doing in the next few months. So Holly pitched at our Xoogler Demo Day last January, and since then, Subly's become the #1 repurposing and subtitling platform in the UK for business owners, for marketing teams, and it's funded at the moment by Telefonica and Loyal VC. So congrats, Holly. How are you doing?
Thanks, Jenny. I'm good. New jumper, different face to what you see on there, different mugshot, but I'm doing good. The business is doing well, and we're on to our next funding round. So hopefully I'll be able to share some insights on Subly.
Absolutely. So did your Xoogler pitch day, did that attract much investor attention from the get-go, or was it a gradual thing? How did things transpire?
Yeah, we had a few interesting angel investors after the pitch day. I think I must have had like 5 separate conversations with investors. Right. But then what we also found is that then they were interested in Subly in some way, or they could recommend us to one of their portfolio companies, or they could recommend it to someone because it helps so many people. Mm-hmm. Actually, it's kind of a snowball of not just angel investments, but also other investors that were potentially interested in other businesses too that we could help. So it's kind of a snowball effect with Subly. So whether it's a customer or an angel investor, I'm always interested to speak with them.
Of course. So you're doing plenty of other things outside of this, but it's just really all hands on deck, talk to everybody you can. And do you tend to have to meet with people multiple times before you receive the investment? How does that work out?
Yeah, it depends on the size of the investor, and yeah, one investment or one call, it can be a complete close of like 75k straight away. But then for the larger investments or strategic investors, it can take 20 calls and different committees it needs to go through. It just depends on who you're going for. We have many angels on our cap table, which is what I found at the start anyway for our pre-seed round. Had lots of angel investors. Some of those were very quick to get over the line, some of them not so much, and more meetings, whereas the strategic investors like Wayro, you need to go through committees and legal teams as well. So it just depends on what investor.
Fantastic. So what went well with your raise and what didn't go well? Did you make any mistakes along the way?
In terms of what did go well is that you have to have a lot of meetings, and both rounds have been overfunded. And this next round I'm doing, which have only been open for 10 days, we're already 12% funded, which is good. So that is the good thing of, meeting the target, I suppose. But then you've also got the expectations on top of that, that it's just one part of it is raising the funds. The next part is meeting the milestones that you promised. The bad part, I would say, is you need to start small. Well, what I found is that you need to go to angels first sometimes. It depends on what size of the business, I suppose. If you're more kind of heavy and you need a lot of hardware, whereas if we're a SaaS business, so we don't need much hardware, then we can be very agile in a small team and we can scale it very, very quickly with minimal people. That's what we've done for the past few years. So the cash flow is good for us. On the other hand, I would just say, give some advice of like, you just need a really clear structure. I won't say it's a bad thing that we've done, but you do need a clear structure. So some advice is just make a list of all the angels you want to go after, all the VCs, start to talk with them now. And some of those may convert down the line. They might not convert on the first pre-seed pitch that you do when you've got no revenue, but when you've got kind of 150k ARR, they're open to speaking to you 2 years later, is what we found.
Absolutely. So what stage are you at exactly now?
So we're kind of we're still pre-seed seed. And we had no revenue actually a year ago, and now we're at 150k ARR after a year of just started. Thank you. So it's been all hands on deck. It's all been towards the revenue for us and making a great product, as is very much the value that we can bring to users based on the product that they receive. So it's all about that viral growth that we can also get from our products through them inviting their team members, and how we just keep creating a great product.
Yes, absolutely. Okay, so what's next for Subly in terms of your growth? Do you need to hire people, or are you looking for more investment, or are you just going to be building the product, or are you selling your go-to-market strategies going forward, or what's next?
All of the above. The main one is to just keep building a great product, but that also needs to be marketed. So the hybrid approach whilst I'm raising that investment. So the first one is really looking at our users, their use case, improving that product for them, and who are our ideal customers we're going after, rather than trying to build for everyone. We're very specific on who we do go after and who we don't go after.
Right.
And then it's raising, at the moment for me, that's my main focus. We're currently raising 750k to a mil with around 12% commitments. And then all that funding is towards growth. So we've done a lot of research. We've done a lot of things good, a lot of things bad. We've done a lot of learnings. It's just learning from what we've done and now growing that revenue.
Fantastic. So what pointers would you have for the cohort of startups that are coming to us now? What should they do and what should they not do?
Definitely a big long list of investors. You might be looking just get lots of yeses, but there's going to be a lot of no's. So make a big long list. Be persistent and resilient with that. It does take a number of follow-ups and making sure that you're on top of that. But also you're the expert in your business. You know the data better than anyone. And so just show that, have that confidence that they're looking for with the pitch. Amazing.
Thank you so much, Holly, for coming back. I'm so glad it's been a success story so far. Definitely going to watch it, see how it comes through. And we'll definitely put the subtitles on for our video as well. So we'll be using Subly for that.
Thanks so Jenny.
Cheers. Goodbye. So our Xoogler investments and investors. So first of all, who is in the house? We've got all the big companies. The big corporate investors are interested. Not all of them come on the day, but all of them want to see the video afterwards. We've stalled that a little bit because we do like to be scrappy, and we do want to see people actually coming along and being part of the day. There will be mistakes because we're not videoing. We're not trying to do the most professional veneered presentation. This is about real people looking for real help, and if they make mistakes, please forgive them. If I do as well, then please do as well. So thank you for coming along, and we will definitely be contacting you and sending you the details across as well. So we've had lots of Xoogler demo day successes. I don't need to go through the deal flow. People coming out of Google just seem to know how to build companies at scale. Definitely good ones to invest in. You can't always tell with the startups which ones are going to succeed and which ones aren't, but it's such an interesting gamble. And there's such great companies compared to anywhere else I've seen. There's brilliant people coming through. These are some of our recent exits and funding successes as well. You probably know a lot of these names. Great companies that have presented with us, and people that we know from working with them previously. And then it's great to see people succeed out in the real world as well. Okay, so our presenting startups. We have quite a list. As I said, 17 companies this time. We couldn't hone it down anymore. There was almost 30 that wanted to apply. A lot of them, you know, could be better next time, or didn't fit that because they weren't raising funds, or weren't in the region, etc. Our thesis really is to have a founder that has left their job at Google to throw themselves into building a new company. So that's our thesis. That's what we keep to. But it does mean we have a real diversity of interesting companies from across the region. We have people from the Middle East, we have people from Africa, all across EMEA, all across Europe and the UK. We have people that are working on products for kids, products for women, products for industry, etc. Really wide and varied. So please bear with us and please enjoy the show. We're going to start off going through companies now that we have everybody here. So this is our cohort. You might have got my brochure of the agenda, so you'll know what order they come through. I think there's been a few changes. I know some people need to leave early or are in regions where they need to be a little bit earlier. So this is the new agenda. Okay, lots of varied companies. I know there's a lot to take in, but this will be recorded and sent to you afterwards. I'll also send you the pitch deck as well, so you'll get all of their slides. Okay, so first up, we will be then having, let me see, Apian. Okay, so we have Alexander Truby, who is someone that I worked with at Google Health in King's Cross. He was one of my hiring managers. He is now the co-founder and CEO of Apian. This is a groundbreaking logistics company using drones to deliver faster, smarter, greener healthcare.
Thank you very much, Jenny, and shout out to Tracy, who I see in the room there, who I think has been invaluable to us all. I joined Google as an acquired founder and was given an executive coach who inspired me to imagine what my children's future would look like and start building it now. So I closed my eyes and pictured drones crisscrossing the sky. I quit Google and founded Apian with two brilliant student doctors called Chris and Hamid. The first use of drones, the regulators and public will support, will be for security and healthcare. By focusing on these, we'll be able to look around the corner of innovation, develop IP, and establish majority market share. Now, my co-founder Hamid's family fled Afghanistan and knows that using drones to drop bombs is not cool, but healthcare certainly is. Poor logistics waste time, money, and lives. It harms the patients, it harms the NHS, and it harms the planet. This patient can have pizza delivered in 30 minutes, and yet it takes up to 3 days to get their lab tests turned around. We have our priorities wrong. Drones deliver faster, smarter, and greener healthcare. They speed up lab turnaround times, bring care to remote areas, and improve sustainability. They are the wedge that will bring on-demand delivery to healthcare, and healthcare is the wedge that will bring drones and apian to other industries. Now, we don't make the drones, and nor do we treat the patients. We operationalize drone delivery across the entire health system network to build national critical infrastructure we call the NHS air grid. The drone industry can't do this because they're busy making things fly, and the healthcare industry is busy with their backlog. Whilst there are drone companies flying medicine, no one is integrating it into existing clinical order, inventory, and warehouse management systems. We're initially focused on the UK and have 9 active projects up and down the country, including delivery of the world's first chemotherapy by drone and the UK's first prescription with our partner Boots. Each project is testing our business model, which is pay per delivery plus commission. We're a British startup co-founded by NHS doctors, both of which matters to the NHS and the British Civil Aviation Authority. In fact, with this team, we've closed more deals with the NHS trusts in 2 years than Google Health did in its 4. We're now looking for £5 million from investors so that together we can launch London's first ever drone delivery service between Guy's and Tommy's, deliver the UK's first blood and transplant products, build the NHS air grid, and get a share of the $226 billion global healthcare logistics market. Come fly with us if you want to help build the future. Thank you very much.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Alexander. I didn't say before, but do ask questions if you press the shapes on the bottom right of your screen. So triangle, square, circle. I know it's not something you would naturally think was the area to ask questions, but press that and you can upvote questions and answers. Okay. So who do you consider to be your biggest current competition?
I think our biggest competition right now is probably NHSX, or what used to be NHSX. So it's not a drone company. In fact, we work with the drone companies. So we work with, speaking with Wing, Zipline, Madanet, and all the good companies. They actually partake in our tender process. We're drone operator neutral because the NHS needs to be. So we have projects that range from 2 kilometers in distance to 100 kilometers. And so you need horses for courses in that respect. So it's really about setting those standards. I say NHSX, I actually met with them this morning, so we're working hand in hand. We want more competition, really, and it's a worrying fact that there isn't any. So the more the merrier. So I move on to Stefan's.
Yes, and what are your plans below? Beyond GB or UK?
So we partner. So Boots gives us an entry into their sort of the Walgreens Alliance into America. Yes. Actually, we also partner with SynLab, which is Europe's largest pathology company. They're actually the people that supply both Guy's and Tommy's. And they are a German company. We've actually got eyes on the East and not so much the West, so looking at China as well. But first of all, it's about proving what we can with Europe's largest employer, the NHS, and some of the world's most complex airspace in and around London.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Alexander. We will have basically people wanting to talk to you, I'm sure. All the details will be sent out, so they'll be able to contact you. But thank you so much for putting things together.
No, thank you, Jenny.
Cheers. Okay, so up next we have Jenny, who is a co-founder and CEO of a company called The Newsroom. This leverages AI to create a more inclusive information ecosystem. There we go. Hello, Jenny.
Yes. Hello, everyone.
Can you see our screen?
We can do. That's perfect. Yeah.
Perfect. So, well, hello, everyone. We are The Newsroom, and our mission is to fight misinformation and promote plurality online. So first of all, let's take a look at the problem. There are 2 billion people reading news online nowadays, but 62% of them report that they lack trust in what they read. That amounts to 1.2 billion people reading the news and not trusting it. And that has incredible consequences on our democracies, as we've seen lately, as well as on our health and on our climate. Now, the Newsroom comes in to fight misinformation and promote plurality by building a trusted platform to engage with the news. As a user, you'll get a snapshot of current affairs around topics that you care about. And then you'll be able to deep dive, looking at the historical context. So basically, what are the key events that led to the news I'm reading today, but also current context. So how are different publishers talking about the same issue? What are the differences? And most importantly, what is common ground, which is key to achieve plurality. Now, in December of 2021, we launched a browser extension that is helping us test our hypothesis and get feedback from users. It is now being tested by about 150 users from 31 countries around the world, and they're getting transparent evaluations of the trustworthiness of what they're reading. What that means is that they understand exactly how our algorithm worked to provide them with a certain assessment, and their feedback is pivotal for us to improve on our technology. Now, of course, there would be no The Newsroom without a team. I am Jenny, I'm the co-founder and CEO, and Pedro here is our co-founder and head of product. We both worked at large technology companies, Google included for myself, before deciding to dedicate our careers to the fight against misinformation. So The Newsroom was born in December of 2020. Over the past year, we moved from a problem statement to a beta launched in December of last year. We are now on track to release our beta application for news discovery, and over the next 12 months, our objective is to iterate on our technology, both on the back end and on the front end. The objective by 2025 is for The Newsroom to become one of the top 10 paid news apps in Europe. And for all of this, we're raising $500,000 to, at the end of the day, build a great product that people will love. This translates into hiring 8 people across tech, marketing, and editorial, and scaling our technology and user acquisition efforts. I'd love to have a chat with you about the future of The Newsroom, and a huge thank you.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Jenny. That was fantastic. I would love to know, how you're going to tackle languages. Are you going to focus predominantly on English to get it out there, and then perhaps look at using something like Subly, or how are you going to focus on reaching further?
Exactly. So for the time being, everything we have built and will be building for the next year at least will focus exclusively on English. Yes. The objective by the first half of next year is to scale to 5 extra languages, mostly European for the beginning. And then we are exactly exploring different ways of making sure that we can tackle as many languages as possible.
Okay, fantastic. And we have a question from Tom Weller. Where do you get your trust base?
Yeah, so great question. So we, at the minute, rely on independent NGOs that assess different publishers, news publishers, as well as different sources of information and of news. We're now using those as a base for our knowledge base, essentially. And from there, identifying, clustering what are the information that those publishers are providing, and using that as a base of knowledge for how we assess trust.
But that's on the sources, and then I think that the question is a bit broader than that.
Sorry.
Yeah.
For the rest, like the source is one of the 5 things we look at. There are 2 other elements that we look at that are very simply connecting the dots at the end of the day. So looking at the references and the author. So if there is information about who the author is and what type of references are being used. And then there are 2 other aspects which are a little more NLP driven. One of them looks at the key claims that the article is making, and basically we cross-reference them online to understand if there is agreement or disagreement on them. Yes. And last but not least, we look at the language, so if there is bias or potential for clickbait. So all of that defines what we define as trust.
Fantastic. All your special sauce that's going away. Fantastic. Thank you so much for presenting so well for us. I'm sure people will have further questions, and the details will go out afterwards. Thank you so much, Jenny.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. So up next, we have Karim, who is co-founder of CERRION. This is a building plug-and-play video AI, which improves productivity in manufacturing. So, Karim, here we go.
Thanks for the intro, Jenny.
No worries. All right.
All right. So most of us got to feel the supply chain issues affecting our world today. Whether it's the new couch or bike you wanted to buy, you had to wait for months. And manufacturing's answer is production needs to be closer to home. But with costs still high and skilled workforce is rare, productivity has never been more important than it is today. We're building video monitoring AI to help manufacturing be more productive and are making it accessible for all. Every year, $1 trillion of potential revenues are lost in manufacturing processes. That's around 8% of the industry's total value generation. At CERRION, we are the first to market to build a plug-and-play video monitoring AI that is easy to use, low maintenance, and can be deployed within hours instead of weeks. Our AI leverages video stream to autonomously detect issues on the factory floor before they lead to losses or negatively affect productivity, which saves up to $300,000 per production line per year. We're going to make money by charging a yearly license fee for every single production line our AI is monitoring. We were able to generate strong traction in a very short period of time. We launched less than 6 months ago and already have $100,000 in pilots across 3 different manufacturing industries and in 4 countries, with a clear view to grow to 10 different industries, 30 countries, and reach recurring revenue of $50 million in the next 5 years. We're asking for $1.8 million to give us 18 months of runway to spend on product, sales, and customer success. Our team consists of highly experienced PhDs, Xooglers, and serial entrepreneurs who have successfully built video AI for the aviation industry and scaled it to more than 40 airports worldwide. With our strong track record and experience in video AI, we're now moving to take the technology mainstream and help the manufacturing industry be more productive and transparent. If you'd like to be part of our journey, please give me a call. Looking forward to hearing from you, and thank you very much.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. So I'm curious about where you're actually working at the moment. Are you able to plug this into manufacturing anywhere in the world, or are you focusing on one area geographically? So
generally, like how we're building our product, it can be just needs an internet connection, right, and a video stream to work. So we don't have any geographic limitations, but our customers are all based in Europe, and we will probably focus more on Europe in the coming month, and then from on to take on to other strong markets.
Why limit yourself? Amazing. Yeah. So Tom's come in here, and how do you generalize AI?
Yeah, so our product relies, we have a complete no-code workflow, right, which enables a complete setup. So whatever the use case is, one doesn't need to have a specific model trained, because the whole setup can be done plug and play by the customer. And the main part which differentiates us is we are relying on self-supervised learning instead of traditional self-supervised learning approaches, right? So our models can adapt to the process at scene and generate insights directly, right?
Fantastic. Okay, we have a question here. I don't know if you can see it, from Meinrad. Are you aware that hundreds of NGOs are in fact not non-governmental, but government funded, and will surely verify that the government wanted info is implemented through your platform and everything else deleted? Just curious as to whether that was about the newsroom rather than
probably,
about.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so that was probably just late coming in. Anyone else got any questions about this company, CERRION? Awesome. I think you pulled it together very succinctly. Fantastic. Thank you so much, Karim.
Perfect.
Nicely done. Okay, so next up we have Philip Allen. He's the co-founder and CEO of Overtone. This is a company that finds and sorts text content by quality. Now, this is something very close to my heart. I have 3 young daughters, and I want to make sure that the news that they pick up when they're looking on the internet is true and verifiable. So, Philip, how are you doing this?
Thank you, Jenny. Yes, I'm Philip, and in fact, it's broader than news. I'll tell you why. I grew up navigating 2 different countries, cultures, and languages. So I learned early on that effective quality communication is difficult, but crucial. The opposite can be hugely damaging, whether that's in my family situation or globally. Think of the US Capitol riots that you see pictured on the screen, or the war unfolding in Ukraine today. Access to quality content is vital, but it's getting harder and harder to know which content is useful or valuable. And that's what Overtone thinks about all day. Can we rely on what we read online? The problem hits two types of businesses especially hard. One, those who create, manage, and sell content like PR firms, publishers, and brands. Two, those who process content for data like analytics firms, financials, and also brands. So we're teaching computers to read content like expert humans at speed and scale to tell you if a piece of content is worth your time. We built a B2B SaaS API, which assesses text itself, not source or author, and focuses on the content, not external metrics. The tool simply judges content quality by the human effort put in, which correlates with added value for the reader. Our NLP algorithm works as either an API, scoring content you provide, or as a feed, finding useful content organized by themes that you choose. Businesses pay per 1,000 API calls or a flat monthly rate per feed. Our traction runs at 4K a month currently across publishing and analytics, but we want to grow. To do that, we're raising about £1.8 million, which will keep us going for over a year. 3/4 of that is going to team expansion, and the rest is for cloud, data, and software. The funding will allow us to hit product milestones and build an organization for growth. Our approach at teaching computers to think quality, not quantity, is special. It's made possible by our unique backgrounds in journalism, linguistics, operations, media, and partnerships. It's led to an expert-curated data set and cross-industry business model, which give us a competitive advantage in terms of product, loyalty, and scale. Our co-founding team exemplifies those areas. Christopher is responsible for the product, Reagan builds loyalty, and I work on scale. So, can we rely on content online? Overtone has made a strong start. We'd love your help in taking the next steps. Thank you.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Philip. Sorry, I know it's more than news. There's so much out there that needs to be verified, particularly in the world these days. Okay, so I think Ice White. Sorry, my daughter. Okay, so we have Ice White asking a question here. Having looked at this in the last few days, you base the quality and reliability on a 5-star rating. I think the public will completely miss and ignore the importance and subtleties of the stars. Why not have specific labels such as missing context or false news?
Yeah, so we want, first of all, to keep this product quite simple. We're a B2B product at the start. There are users, there are consumers who are interested in this. And when we ramp up our B2C efforts, other labels and annotations will be used. But for now, it's less about saying this is misinformation, this is false, this is true, more about what is the quality of the content itself. We're not saying this is true or not necessarily, this is false or not. We're saying how much effort did a human being put in to make this piece worth your while to read. That's why we're going for a simple 1 to 5 scale, where 5 is sort of the most added human effort, 1 is the least at the moment.
That makes sense. So can you give an example of a typical client?
Sure, we have one which is a US group of newspapers. They're using us across about 300 different news organizations in the US to effectively source content from within their own system across hundreds of publishers and say, what is the content that is resonating the most with their users? What is the content that we should be sharing across all these different platforms? So a piece, for instance, from a local newspaper in California may be extremely relevant and useful, valuable to people in Florida. And so that client is using us right now to lift those pieces up and spread them more broadly, effectively acting as a syndicator for their news organizations.
Amazing. And just quickly, George, you're putting your questions in the notes rather than in question and answer. Just for anyone that started, please put questions in the symbols on the bottom right, which would be fabulous. So George asks, what is the percentage of audience looking for quality? Do you think the market is ready for quality? Do we want it?
I think the market has never been as ready, and I think it's going to grow. I mean, I'm not joking when I'm referring to the events of the last few days in Ukraine, for instance. But my picture was from the U.S. Riots from a year ago, where the dust has settled a little bit, and I think people have, for the past 12, 14 months now, been looking for quality content they can rely on.
Yes.
And I think we're seeing that now also in Ukraine, but it's really too early to say exactly which way the wind is blowing in those terms. But absolutely, we are seeing increase in ask, in desire, in need for reliable content online.
Absolutely. Fantastic. Thank you so much. It's been really insightful, and enjoyed listening to it. Fabulous. Right. So next up, we have Julian Harris, another hiring manager of mine from London. He's the founder of KNOWCAST, voice-enabled note-taking on the go app.
Thanks very much, everyone. Okay. You see the screen okay? Yep.
Yes,
good. Yep. Great. Good. So just imagine this for a second. You're listening to a podcast. Firstly, you're probably on the move, exercising, traveling, or doing chores. And then you hear something you want to remember. Or you might discover a book or a website or a product. How do you capture this? Your hands and eyes are busy. It's really hard. And around the world, this happens anywhere between 3 and 10 hours a week across a population that we project in the next couple of years to be as many as 126 million people. So with this, we created KNOWCAST, a learning tool for podcast content. It's hands-free and voice-enabled because that's the only interface that works in this situation. It offers note-taking and highlighting of transcribed podcast content so you can capture the parts you care about. And in the future, we're going to offer other forms of digital media as well. It also has tools for improving learning and knowledge retention. So what's really interesting about this is an absolutely huge blue ocean across multiple lines of business. The first one, B2C, individual learning with very strong feedback on willingness to pay. Podcast listeners already are a highly engaged audience. Podcast learners are affluent, well-educated knowledge professionals. The B2B Creator Edition is for richer analytics for podcast creators, affiliate links, interactive audio, including polls and social sharing of highlights. Pinterest for audio even. B2B for teams and enterprise, this is bringing it all into the organization to expand their knowledge through audio. So we've had a few dozen field testers with a wide range of backgrounds using our voice prototype mobile app over the past few months, including doctors, founders, venture capitalists, consultants, tertiary students, and other knowledge professionals. We're launching a beta in June, launching B2C in the UK and US in the second half of 2022. So the investment is, we have 450K pre-seed in play. June 22 onwards, we're seeking a follow-on round of 2 million. The money will be mostly used for scaling the tech talent and build, marketing, and potentially for the Creator Edition, we might make sense to acquire a podcast publishing platform, but they may require additional round of funding. And so in terms of contact, this is the team. Contact me at KNOWCAST.io. I'd love to hear from you if you think this is an opportunity you'd like to pursue further.
Amazing. Thank you, Julian. Really cool. So is this a product that you and I would buy, but would you sell it to companies? Is it something that teams would use, or is it always individuals?
Yeah, so there's 3 different things. The first thing we're trying to solve for is the individual, the knowledge professional who has this real problem, who wants to improve their ability to be a professional in their particular area of expertise. So the B2C solution is an individual app that will be an individual subscription, £5 in the UK and about $7 in the US. But we also have the opportunity for podcast creators, and there's about 2 million podcast creators in the world. They have real problems with discoverability of their content, and this is potentially a way of doing that with the Pinterest for audio highlight sharing through social media option. And the final tier is where you take all the advantage that the individual brings and bring that into the enterprise. So we actually have 3 different tracks in terms of where this potentially can go.
Fantastic. It's something I've never heard of before I came across, your startup, and it's certainly something I could use. Thank you so much for bringing it to us. And thank you for showing us your slides. And we can get in touch with Julian in the future. I'll send the details across. So
Thank you.
thank you. Next up, we have Vignesh, who is the co-founder and CEO of NUNA. This is a SaaS-enabled marketplace for mental health care experts.
Thanks, Jenny.
Hey.
Hi, hello, everyone. I'm Vignesh, co-founder at NUNA. We're building Square for independent mental health care experts. We believe that by making the lives of experts easier, mental health gets better for everyone. Here are the core problems that exist today. The mental health industry is supply constrained with only 9 experts for every 100,000 people. And thanks to the gap in supply demand, 1 in 5 experts show symptoms of burnout syndrome. The average therapist uses 8 disconnected tools that involve significant admin overheads, and 40% of their clients don't continue therapy after the first or second session. We believe these inefficiencies prevent therapists from consulting over 50 additional clients a year. So how big is the opportunity? Considering a total supply of 2 million experts who consult on average about 45 clients a month, we believe our target revenue base is around $7 billion. So how does NUNA solve this? NUNA has built a full stack solution that helps experts from client acquisition all the way to billing. We've already built the core product to support everyday practice management, a marketplace for clients to match with the right experts, and some fundamental admin tools. We'll soon build advanced features based on the feedback from our expert community. Let's look at our business model. Our platform is subscription free, and we intend to keep it that way forever. And we charge commissions based on the type of client transactions. For example, for a client that comes through our marketplace, we charge 15% on every appointment. We actually launched this early last year in Jan, and we've grown 20% consistently month over month. We just finished launching the ability for experts to migrate their own existing clients onto NUNA, so they have everything in one place. We charge 5% commission, as they'll have no cost of acquiring these customers. And lastly, the one that I'm most excited about, we've signed our first B2B partnership deal with a competitor of ours called Mindgram, who focuses on corporate clients. We'll go live with this deal in March that would allow our experts to offer therapy to the clients of Mindgram. We've shown good traction with 300 licensed therapists. We've delivered over 1,500 hours of therapy, and we've clocked north of $40,000. We're present currently in Spain, Argentina, and Peru, and we hope to expand in LATAM pretty rapidly. Our B2B deal is expected to bring 140,000 GMV for the first 12 months. We're also seeing higher than industry average stickiness with our top users, which we're super happy about. And lastly, we're getting more efficient at acquiring new clients. And since our launch, we've executed all of this with a small team of 7, which we hope to grow soon with your help. We've raised a pre-seed of $200,000 in October 2020 from leading Spanish VCs, and we're currently raising a seed round of $1.5 million. We're going to spend this mostly on building an A team and focus growing our supply base, which is our North Star customers. Before our next raise, we hope to have 1,800 experts sign 3 additional deals very similar to Mindgram and reach 5 million annual run rate in GMV. We hope you're as excited as us in improving access to mental health care. So thanks from Team NUNA.
Oh, I love it. I love your energy and your enthusiasm for this as well. Incredible. So how are you finding clients? How do you make those sales? Have you got people that just phone people up, or where do you find people that need this?
Yeah, fortunately not. We don't have to do that. So 25% of our therapists are actually through word of mouth. We don't have a formal referral program. So therapists find this pretty unique. And this is mainly because practice management as a concept is not present in Hispanic markets. So probably when we reach the US, we'd have to do, pick up the phone and actually call clients. So the 25% comes through organic referrals, 25% comes through our blogs. We maintain an industry blog on how to be a good therapist online, how to build your own telehealth practice. It's called Practica. That sort of keeps bringing us clients from all over the world. And the rest of it is through hyperlocal job portals, like the LinkedIn equivalents for the independent worker industry.
Oh, fantastic. You can even automate sales for these industries. It's very cool. I love it. Okay, if anyone, oh, hold on, we've got Ice White here. Sorry, I've switched off my phone, but sorry. Ice White is asking, I'm in Peru right now. What are some other markets that you're targeting, and how valuable are the markets in South America?
Yeah, we are targeting Mexico, Chile, and Colombia, which is about 50% of LATAM market, and we're piloting in the US as we speak. So we are starting with the first 10, therapists in the US. I say piloting as opposed to launching because in the US you have statewide restrictions, so we're going super carefully about this. And yeah, so by Series A, we should be present in US at some capacity and in 6 markets in LATAM and of course Spain. We already have our tool built in Spanish and English.
Wow. Now, if you're very quick, we've got 2 questions I'm going to squeeze into one. It's an overcrowded market. How are you going to differentiate your solution to the competitors? And what's your dream for the business?
Yeah, for sure. I think differentiation is pretty straightforward. We are supply first. For example, if Jenny and I go to the therapist and say we have anxiety, our prices would be different, our duration would be different. Maybe one of us needs to do it online and the other person not. There's not a single tool that actually allows this flexibility because everyone tackles this from the client perspective, right? If you actually come to NUNA, the therapist can actually build an exclusive customized package for you, and you might have a different price than me, and so on and so forth. So that's our main differentiation, which is why it's been super easy for us to onboard therapists. We're still learning our ropes and matching the right clients, and I'm pretty sure we'll get there. What's my dream business, right? So very mathematically speaking, at least 20% of the world's mental health care experts using NUNA on a daily basis. This is important, and it's quite the dream because therapists today just plaster themselves around 20 directories, which is why supply reliability is very, very poor, right? So once we have the supply using them on a daily basis, it means if you come to NUNA, you're pretty sure you're going to get a good service and a reliable service. And that's how we believe we can build a large mental health space. I just want to mention one more. Discovery is very important. It's just not about speaking to any therapist. 5 years from now in NUNA, if you're a 55-year-old man with a history of X, Y, and Z, NUNA is going to tell you who exactly you should speak to. Is it a cognitive behavioral therapist or a psychoanalyst? And we'll be at a vantage position to build this because we're supply first and we understand truly the workflow of all of our therapists. I hope that answered the question.
Yeah, fantastic. That does. Thank you so much for all your time and
Thanks,
for your
everyone.
efforts putting this together. You know where to get him. Okay, fantastic. So goodbye, Vignes. Next up we have Marie-Louise Dahl, who is co-founder of Lunch.co. Welcome, Marie-Louise. This is a food solution for companies to rebuild office culture.
Great, thank you, Jenny. Do you see my screen properly?
It is wonderful, perfect.
Well, thank you. So, after these 2 years of lockdown, companies need to rebuild office culture. Office culture is closely linked to company profitability via talent retention, individual productivity, and effective collaboration. Google has been using food at work as a tool for building office culture with great success. However, the majority of companies lack the resources and scale to follow. Lunch.co is a food solution for companies to rebuild office culture. We make home cooking part of your office culture by inspiring colleagues to cook and share amongst themselves. And these are some of our customers. The Lunch.co app connects food and culture in the office. You can discover and follow your favorite dishes and chef colleagues, buy with one click, and colleagues can network and find someone to have lunch with. The Chef's Corner is for every colleague who enjoys cooking. Here you can create your recipes, get inspiration, list what you're cooking next, and order high-quality lunch boxes. This is also where we handle the chef onboarding and food safety training. We have 3 revenue streams. We take 10% on all transactions. Companies pay us a subscription fee, and we make money on our own branded meals. A typical workspace of 300 people is worth 15,000 to 20,000 euros annually, with an LTV to CAC ratio of 4.4. We are growing 50% quarter on quarter, and we add new companies every week. The post-pandemic world has created many new opportunities, and Sodexo is our key partner and growth catalyst. They have recognized our potential and given us an LOI for 200 workspaces for 2022 across Sweden, the UK, and beyond. And we're just getting started. In the near future, we will launch a fundraising round to target the 60,000 offices in our home markets alone, and will then expand further. And this is just the tip of the iceberg. Beyond our home markets, food at work is a €1 trillion market globally. 60 billion euros of this can be provided by peer-to-peer, and we have a first mover advantage in this space. We are the right team to capture this. My co-founders, Alexi and Chris, they have more than 25 years of experience in running food businesses. And together we have backgrounds from the corporate world, food tech and smart appliances, localization, fast-growing scale-ups, and Google. And we have built, run, and exited successful businesses on an international level. Now is the time to build back company culture, and food is the way to do it. Come have lunch with us, follow our journey, and join our next investment round. Thank you.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Marie-Louise. Food was such a thing at Google. We took it for granted and we miss it when we're gone, but it really was a time to be able to engage, and those water cooler moments do really happen over the salad bar or whatever is being provided. So it's definitely a great time to bring people in. And I do feel like we need to be tempted back into the city, you know, if we're going to come together. Do you have a size of company you're going for? Are you going for the big ones first of all, or do you want to try out with smaller companies? Is there a specific strategy there?
So they should be, there needs to be a right volume, which is minimum 100 people. So we target the offices from 100 people and up. Our target is out of office, where we then both have the business parks and where we also have then large offices with the single tenant. We're also present in the city center, where we have co-working spaces, and then again also single tenant and multi-tenant larger offices.
Fantastic. Yeah, it's definitely something that's needed. It's of the moment, and that's what I love about this. It's something that we need to get on straight away, just because everybody's going to be wanting to go back into the office, or companies are wanting to tempt people in. So great idea. Thank you so much for presenting it so succinctly. I have one question there coming up from George. How would you manage the liability of quality? That's a good question.
Yes, great question. And that's one of the questions that we get frequently, along with, well, what's the risk, of course, of people getting sick? So if we look at the quality, first of all, we leverage our retail experience on this. And one of our simpler ways of doing this is to standardize things. So we standardize the experience by then giving lunch boxes to our chefs. And in this way, we can then automatically suggest the portion size and as well the presentation itself. As part of the chef's corner, which we then have very clearly on the app, we then also, that's where we have both the food safety training and the chef onboarding, which is then part of the quality. If we look at the risk of people getting sick, we can start by comparing the actual home cooking versus going out. And the risk of going out to a restaurant is actually twice as high of getting food poisoned versus eating home cooked food. So what we want to do here, and any restaurant that has this type of risk, it's about mitigating that risk. And to have the right control measures in place. So we are in touch with local food regulations, and we have both checklists and risk assessments in place in the same way that you would expect a conventional food provider to have this available. Additionally, food poisoning itself is also an insurable risk.
Absolutely, and I suppose it's going to keep the market slightly more scarce, because there'll be less companies coming in to take that chance. If you've got it nailed down, then you're going to stand out. Fantastic. Thank you so much for presenting for us. Fantastic. Oh, it says, are you using sustainable lunchboxes and packaging? That's a quick question.
Yes, yes, we are. So this is something that we've been looking at from scratch. So we use bagasse trays that are 100% recyclable. And the top is 50% recyclable and is then of recyclable plastic. That's something that we're looking at, how we can make that more sustainable. From a user perspective, you still want to be able to see the food that you buy. Despite that you see photos in the app, that's still a requirement from the customer perspective. We are then looking into if we can make reusable lids instead, since the lid is not something that gets dirty or so. Or well, it gets slightly dirty, but then you can easily wash it. So yes, sustainability is at our core, Absolutely.
Absolutely. Needs to be these days, I'm certain. Okay, fantastic. Thank you so much, Mary-Louise. Thank you for presenting.
Thank you, Jen.
Okay, so next up we have Imad Garazdin, a co-founder of MAMO. Now, there's a payment solution which helps individuals and businesses simplify everyday payments.
Thank you so much, Jenny. Can you guys see my screen okay?
We can, it's perfect.
Amazing. Okay, cool. So good morning or good afternoon, wherever you are. My name is Imad. I'm the co-founder and CEO of MAMO. Moving money in the MENA region is terribly broken today. And we're a Dubai-based fintech on a mission to fix that. It's not just consumers who are suffering, but businesses too. Pain points across both these segments include notoriously slow and inefficient bank transfers, which can sometimes take up to 12 hours to complete. Offline experiences, sluggish mobile apps on the banking side, poor customer support, and very expensive gateway and point of sale integrations. So we've solved this by getting a payment services license here in the UAE and building a platform that caters to both customer segments. For individuals, we built a bank-agnostic native app, and for businesses, we built a dedicated web app to help these businesses create customized payment links that can then be shared anywhere, anytime, freely. We're initially looking at the UAE and Saudi Arabia as these two markets make up 80% of the MENA opportunity. On the B2B side, we have a total addressable market of just over 600,000 SMEs and the potential 6.7 billion in revenue per year. And on the consumer side, we expect to see over 100 billion in digital payments by 2025, which translates to roughly 3.3 billion in revenue per year. Now, there's a mix of players in our ecosystem. Most players are either B2C or B2B plays. We position ourselves as one of the few companies who are adopting a platform approach by design. Our vision is to build this platform and grow a unified experience for consumers and businesses, where both are incentivized to acquire and expand this network on our behalf. In terms of the business model, the majority of our early stage revenues come from B2B transaction fees and B2C float monetization, but we do add additional ancillary services as we grow throughout this year, which create more revenue streams as well. Our team is currently 21 FTE strong, and we're spread across 7 countries. Our investors include GFC, Dragoneer, and 4DX. And in terms of traction, happy to share more details on our traction after this session, but we're currently seeing around 40% month-on-month growth in transaction volumes. This is despite client volume restrictions in place by our regulator while we're under this test license. On the consumer side, most of the traction you see here is mostly referral-based growth. And again, we have limited time today, so we're happy to add you guys to any quarterly updates we send out, which include a lot more juice than this. Thank you so much. Any questions, please feel free to fire away.
Fantastic. It's so needed to clean up the industry across the world. There's so many different solutions to moving money around the world, and I don't know if anything has ever come close to being perfect. From what you see, this is mostly business to business, right? Is it always going to be that way?
Sorry, can you repeat the question?
Yes, your product is business to business, right?
So it's business to business and business to consumer, and we're merging the two as we build out the platform, yeah. And
so what about revenue streams? Is the revenue stream going to be much more superior for business to business, but you want to get your name out for consumer? Is there a reason you're not choosing one or the other, or do you just want to be able to help everyone?
Yeah, that's a great question, and we've asked ourselves as well. B2B is definitely easier to generate revenue early on, but as we grow and the network effects build up, that's when the consumer side of the business will become just as profitable and revenue driving as the B2B side.
Right.
The reason we're not picking is because we want, by design, to adopt this platform approach, which allows us a lot of defensibility. And once we've captured the market, it's going to be very hard for competitors to come in and replicate what we've got.
Okay, that makes sense. So what are the obstacles to getting a full license?
So getting a license in general is a long process, especially here in the MENA region, because regulation is not as mature as it is elsewhere. However, the stage we're at today, like I would say the biggest obstacle is having the regulator conduct their audit of our processes and systems, and we're already like 95% done with that right now.
Awesome. What's the
Yeah.
investment ask for MAMO, and what would you use it for?
Yeah, so at this stage, we just wanted to shed some more light onto the size of the MENA market and the pain points that users are facing. We're not currently raising, but we will be towards the end of this year. So no ask as of yet, but feel free to get in touch, and I'll happily share updates as we go.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. All right, so I think we'll be moving on to the next one now. Thank you, Ahmad. Fantastic. So up next, we have Maj Aleli, and he's the founder of FANKOOSH Studios. They aim to be the #1 digital content platform in the Middle East. Fantastic. Hey, Maj.
Hi there. Can you see our screen?
I can see you. I can see your screen, but I can also see your slides down the side.
Okay. Yeah. We'll present now.
Fantastic.
Great. Another startup from MENA, I guess, to close the session. So hi, my name is Maj, and I'm presenting to you FANKOOSH Studios. As Jenny said, we aim to be the #1 digital content platform in the Middle East today. And so the problem we're trying to solve is just the major gap that exists in digital Arabic content. So the Arabic web is very poor. It's less than 1% of the total web. And this doesn't make sense when you look at the size of the internet population, how young and digital it is, and how they still prefer to consume content in Arabic today. Our solution is FANKOOSH Studios, a multi-channel digital content network that will produce amazing content for the region. You can think of us as the BuzzFeed of the Middle East. And last week, we just graduated from Founder Institute, which is the second biggest seed accelerator after Y Combinator globally. We're already live, so we've actually launched our first property in July 2021. This property is geared towards Arabic Gen Z speakers. And as of last month, so yesterday, basically, we've crossed 500,000 unique monthly visitors, and we're growing at a 40% average month-on-month growth rate since we've launched. And the whole idea is obviously this is one content brand, and the idea is to build a variety of content brands under the umbrella of FANKOOSH Studio. And so what makes us different, or how do we win? One is we leverage technology heavily to make the content come up in great ways and great experiences. Two, we're trying to adopt this new model where there are star journalists leading the platform. So as you get attached to the platform, it's not just for the brand, but for the amazing journalists that are behind it that act as if they're influencers and help you build a community. And we're bringing a very diversified approach of how we generate revenue to make sure that we succeed through partnerships and brands. In terms of the market and the TAM, the market is very ready for great content partners. So the digital ad market's already over $1 billion in MENA, and e-commerce is growing tremendously. And both of these markets need amazing content to thrive. And so what about our growth ambitions? We're very ambitious, I'd say, in terms of where we want to be in 5 years. So in 5 years, we'd like to hit a monthly reach of 45 million unique users every single month across all of our platforms. And if we do that in terms of revenue, we should hit about $2.5 million in monthly revenue. And that diversification comes from investing in ads, e-commerce, affiliate marketing, and gated and premium subscriptions as well, to make sure that we have a very good base of revenue streams to rely on for our growth. In terms of team, the team is already in place and ready to grow. So one, myself, I have a background in digital media and technology in the Middle East for over 10 years. And we already have a team in place working. So 3 people with great expertise on content and technology working full-time with us, and more than 10 people helping us shape the content and bring it to life. In terms of what we're looking for, we've been bootstrapped so far, and this is our first funding round. We're looking for $550K in funding, and it's to actually invest against the key functions that will help us continue to grow. So one, video, which we haven't touched on at all yet. 2 is investing more in acquiring via 2 channels, which are social and Google. 3 is continuing to invest in the technology with an additional engineering resource. And then finally is bringing in a monetization lead, so we start properly launching the monetization plan that we have in place. We are Studio FANKOOSH. My name is Maj. We're looking for support, advice, and investment. So if you'd like to continue this discussion, I'm very happy to take it forward after this meeting. Thank you very much.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. So we have a couple of questions coming in already. One from Philip. How do you ensure the star contributors don't misuse their position of influence?
That's a very good question. And so that's one of the things that we have to deal with the digital space today. What we do is we actually vet people and they grow gradually as influencers within the platform. So we do not give them a full platform before we understand their ability to understand the audience, connect with them, and be able to create content that is appealing. And then afterwards, there are always safety measures in place to make sure that the content is well received, it's not manipulative, everything is still reviewed editorially to make sure that we are in the right space when it comes to these contributors.
Awesome. Okay, and George says, are influencers important in your ecosystem?
Yes, so MENA is actually very influencer heavy on the social front. If you're familiar with the market, you would know that actually a lot of what the younger digital generation is looking at are influencers in terms of role models and growth. And so that's why we want to bring this model into a more traditional approach, which is a content brand, to be able to have not just our site, but a lot of star influencers within it that people get attached to and help us build our community with.
It helps you build your brand. And I'm assuming you have YouTube and Instagram, etc., coming together.
So
how do you compete with them already?
So we're in a place of competition, but we're in a place of collaboration as well. So the great thing about building a content brand is that it has to be really fluid. And from my years at Google, I know that a lot of media platforms had hiccups because they were too focused on the channel instead of focused on building great content. And so the ambition is to be able to just say, you know what, we have this content brand that's geared toward Gen Z, and it can take life in so many different shapes and forms, including on social networks, including in merchandising, including on VOD. So this is the way, great platforms like BuzzFeed or Vox or all of these great examples are really succeeding today when it comes to the content space.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Maj. Good luck with it all. And
thank you very much.
And your contact details around, so thank you.
Thank you.
Fantastic. So up next, we have Henri de Novacel. He's the CEO of DEARREAL. This focuses on cleaning up online dating. Much needed exercise, I must say. Hi, Henri. We can see your slides. Can't hear you, though.
This should be better.
Yeah.
You can't see me either. This work? Yay. Sorry. Winning. Perfect. Hi, Jenny. My name is Henri. I'm the founder of DEARREAL. I was hearing these really strange stories from my single friends and especially my sisters and my women friends on online dating. And I have a background in fintech and health tech, and I thought, okay, maybe I could help here. And actually, finding the right partner is more important than your finance and your health, because it's going to have trickling effect on everything. So let me tell you about what's going on there. If I can change my slide. Um, 53% of millennial women have received an indecent pic. The women on apps are feeling really unsafe. We've interviewed tons of women, and we've had women that have received like 90% of messages you wouldn't want to receive. Telling the truth, there's no reliable information online, but it's even worse when it comes to dating. 57% of users admit lying on their profile. Privacy, there's no way to manage where your profile is going to show up. Once you put your information on a dating app, it's available, geolocated at your work and at your home for everyone to see. How are we going to solve this? All the industry incumbents know this issue. Their biggest brands and the brands that are growing the most are the ones that are looking for the long-term segment and the safe segment, but they have no USP. We believe that DEARREAL has a very strong USP, and also a USP that covers safety, truth, and privacy, and that will help the app grow with this USP. So how does it work? You create your account under a minute. You connect your address book. From there, we organize your data for matchmaking purposes. You can empower your best friends, which will manage your privacy settings. You can vouch for your friends, a bit like LinkedIn, and you can introduce two friends together to matchmake them. If the user is not on the app, we use the means of the phone to send the message out, and we reward the person that's inviting and the person that's receiving the invitation. If you want to message someone on the app, you need to be vouched by two of their friends, or you need to be matchmaked by a mutual friend. This way, we solve safety issues, lying issues, and privacy issues. We have a premium subscription that increases the privacy and the reach of your profile. And we have a go-to-market strategy that's extremely clear. We will be relevant day one, user one. There's no chicken and egg issue. Once the first woman that downloads the app, she will be able to matchmake her closest friends and let them know about the app. We'll be able to vouch for her friends and introduce her friends. We hope that will go viral. We have a great team. There are great people at Facebook, and we have industry insiders. I'm in charge of product. We have a backend developer and a front-end developer that have a wealth of experience. Today, our app is in beta live in both app stores. We will be live to consumers in the summer, and we have the runway for this, but we're looking to raise a 250K pre-seed SEIS and EIS round to ensure we have tech iterations once we go live, that we can stomach any virality, and to ensure we keep our dev talent safe. Thank you very much, and I look forward to your question.
Wonderful, nice presentation, fantastic. So Jamie says, how many test users have used the app so far?
So right now we're in beta live. So the app is tested by our testers and a community of testers, but it's less than 100 because we are still improving the app as we go. But you can see from the screen on the left, this is a live demo of the app.
And so what's their feedback been?
Very, very excited. I get emotional response. It's really a way to get the best out of everything. You get the women don't feel safe, and the men are a bit exasperated by the commoditization of the industry. And the reason why there's so much lying is because men are trying to stand out in a crowd that's really tough.
And this gives them a different way to stand out by being put forward by like-minded people. Fantastic.
It's enabling people to be genuine online.
Yeah. Ice White says, how can you guarantee effectiveness with the focus on the third person or middle man or woman?
I'm not sure I understand the question. How can I? Sorry, what's the question, Jenny?
So how can you guarantee effectiveness? So how good's the match going to be with the focus?
I think I think our friends know each other. I think sometimes our friends know better than anyone than us, what would be a good match. And I believe that's the way people used to, I'm 100% sure this is the way people used to meet before dating apps and before 2014. So since this 2014, dating apps have took over, but we're taking both energies and putting them together.
And can you identify a fake scheme of profiles?
So fake profiles won't work on our app because you need to be vouched by two of the person's friend to be able to talk to that person, or you need to be matchmaked by a mutual friend. So I mean I could create a fake profile and introduce you to that profile, but that wouldn't work very well. So I really think that incumbents do not have a USP, and I do believe that we have a USP that can derail that market. I saw one of the questions. I'm tempted to answer them, Jenny, but you're the boss.
Go for it.
So, what are our regional ambitions? We're really looking for virality. We're looking for growth. We believe that our app has legs in many markets. We're gearing up for French and UK for now, but we will see where it grows, and we'll definitely encourage and accelerate this growth globally. We see this growth going as a Clubhouse or a Revolut without the regulatory issues that Revolut has.
Absolutely. It's one to be sorted. Thank you so much, Henri, for your time, and good luck.
Bye-bye.
Fantastic. Thanks. Bye. Okay, so next up we have LAKERA, and we have David, who is the CEO of LAKERA, which enables every development team to build AI which we can trust. See your slides coming up. They look good. Thanks, David.
Thank you, Jenny. Really appreciate the opportunity to pitch today, because as we speak, people are building AI for serious safety critical applications without being in control. Let me explain. AI is entering our hospitals. In fact, it is already used on patients. A tsunami of autonomous cars is coming to us. In fact, they are already on our streets. But what is the massive problem with developing such AI products today? 80% of AI projects did not go into production in 2020. Why is that? because the systems lack fundamental reliability. But those that do make it to production fail all the time, often silently without us noticing, posing massive reputational risks to businesses and end customers. And as AI already misdiagnoses and discriminates patients all around the world, we are putting lives at stake. In short, companies are not in control of the AI that they put on the market today. And that is scary. This is why my co-founders and I left our dream jobs last year to create LAKERA. LAKERA is an AI safety company that allows anyone to build AI that doesn't fail. LAKERA enables the future where we can trust AI. We are a team of serial entrepreneurs, engineers, and scientists. We have done PhDs to research how AI can be ethical and unbiased. But our competitive advantage? All of us have years of experience building hardcore AI products across industries, where failure is not an option. And we start with what we know best: computer vision. Our first product is a software development kit which identifies failure in computer vision systems early on during development. And it automatically learns safety mechanisms to keep the systems in check during operation. Our customers develop 10 times faster while making sure they are in control of the systems that they deploy. Within months of our launch, one of the world's leading robotics companies has already chosen to build their computer vision systems with LAKERA. And our product is already actively being used across manufacturing, healthcare, and mobility. We already make a clear difference for our customers, obtain commercial commitments, and have the insights that allow us to fix computer vision horizontally. But we are just getting started. After raising a round from Fly Ventures and Leading Angels last summer, we are on the path to fundamentally redefine how we develop and operate AI, which we can trust. Thank you so much.
Wonderful. Thank you, David. That was really clear. Fantastic. There's so many outlets for AI. I know you said you're going to focus immediately on computer vision, but how big do you see this expanding?
Yeah, I think it's a great question. We start with computer vision because it's both the hardest, but also the problem we understand the best. And I think we often say that when GPT-3 is ready for production, then we want to be there to also take care of technologies such as NLP. And I think when we look at AI more generally going forward, there's quite a range of technologies that we need to look at to enable safe AI more generally.
Absolutely. These multimodal environments are just becoming ever more complex. There'll be people in big companies like Facebook or Amazon or Google itself that are focusing on these. Do you not think they're focusing in the right way? Are you doing things differently, or does it just need to be happening outside of big tech?
That's a great question. Our fundamental approach is extremely practically minded. We are putting together a team, and also if you look at our founding team, we've all struggled for years to build AI to the levels of reliability that are needed for applications in healthcare, for applications in mobility, and even beyond. And so we are really sort of our own customers to build the product that solves the problems that we've experienced with a lot of sweat and tears, and are focusing on sort of serving everyone from small startups to big companies already today.
Yeah, that makes sense. So whereabouts does your product sit in the dev workflow?
Yeah, it's a great question. So we work with small startups where we help them from the first day of development when it comes to data collection, all the way to sort of assisting their training processes. Many see us as a quality gate as part of their release process, so we integrate with CI/CD processes quite naturally. But then also, especially with larger companies, we work with them towards certification, so they use our tool to produce the certification evidence they need for the latest standards, and there, we sort of cover the whole range of the development cycle.
So what's the competitor landscape? Are there other companies setting out to do the same thing?
Yeah, we are really happy to actually see that the landscape is quickly maturing. When we started a few months ago, it was a pretty blue ocean. Now we see quite a bit of activity, especially from academic spin-offs. There are companies in the US, there are companies in Switzerland and Germany, and we're actually quite regular contact with most of them. And it's a big enough problem, so it's great to see that we are maturing the landscape as quite quickly.
Fantastic. I'm just going to condense 2 questions here. So, is it transferable across all industries, whether it's automotive quality control industries, 4.0, etc.? And how defensible is your solution?
Yep, I'm going to give a short answer to this. Happy to elaborate on this after this session. So we've identified a technology slice by starting with RGB computer vision first, and that allows us to operate across industries. We are use case agnostic, so really a plug and play solution for many products in all use cases. And we have already built some IP into our product, and ultimately coming back to what I said earlier, it's really about knowing how to poke holes into these AI systems, and so that's where we see a lot of the defensibility and where we put a lot of our knowledge into to ultimately ask the right questions there.
Absolutely. Fantastic. Right, time's up. Thank you so much. Lots of great questions there. Thank you so much for your clear presentation, David.
Thank you so much.
Okay, next up we have Rachel, who is the founder of Gully, a relocation lifestyle assistant. It connects you to the right people and resources at the right time, allowing anyone to live their best nomad life and effortlessly make every city feel like home. Hi, Rachel.
Hi. So 6 months ago, I left Singapore, and ever since I've been living in some of the best cities in the world. So currently I'm based in London, and I've used so many methods to get plugged into new cities. I've used dating apps, attended events, I've got detained at airports, and I've also got rejected by banks, even like Monzo. And it's been a really anxiety-inducing journey. But I think the exciting thing is that I've met so many people along the way, and it's been really fulfilling. And I want to continue living this lifestyle, and so do millions of other people around the world. And with flexible remote work policies nowadays, a lot of people want to live this kind of nomad lifestyle. And there are so many things they have to think about when it comes to relocation. Moving to a new city means rebuilding your life in terms of finding a new house, new friends, new banking and solutions. And there's, if you don't successfully fit in with into the new city, you can feel really lonely. And this is primarily the reason why people end up leaving. So Gully is a relocation lifestyle assistant, and our goal here is to help you move to any city you want to and make it feel like home. The focus right now is to connect you to the right people at the right time, and we will also eventually support you in terms of housing, banking, and all other forms of relocation support. This is going to be a SaaS model for both individuals and enterprise. And I'm very excited to announce we are launching today on the App Store. So do give us, check us out and give us some feedback. I'd love to know what you think. In terms of how we position ourselves, we've discovered this really underserved category of users. It is a huge market with lots of potential. And it's 2022 and people are still either using dating apps or event-based solutions to make friends. So we are carving out this new market, and over the last month, we've actually launched on test flight. I've seen around 16% week-on-week growth from users, primarily coming from New York, London, Miami, and Singapore. And we've also seen companies who are keen on packaging Gully into their relocation packages for expats, their employees, and people who are just constantly on the go. So I'm Rachel. I have worked at Google, and I worked at startups in the US and Singapore in terms of product, marketing, design. And my partner, Chris, has been an engineer at Facebook and Amazon and has also built his own social product. I'm very excited to announce we've already raised more than 50% of our pre-seed funding of $300K and are backed by really strong mentors and as well as investors and advisors. We want to launch in 5 cities by the end of the year, as well as be revenue positive. So if you guys are keen to learn more, feel free to hit me up. I will drop my contact details in the chat box. Thank you.
Fantastic. Thank you, Rachel. I know it would have been really useful. I lived in The Hague in the Netherlands for a while, and I knew nobody. There was no way I could get out. A long time ago, there was less of this available, but yeah, it could be so helpful. Are you focusing really on growing this by location or by growing different companies? Say going from Google to Facebook to Amazon, etc., or smaller companies? How does this growth occur?
So right now we are working with just nomads in general. So I'm looking at it market by market. At the moment, we are launching in London and New York. So there's a lot of people who are either on dating apps or Facebook groups, and this has been where most of our initial users have come from. They want to get connected to a new city, and so these are the people that we're helping, fit in. So primarily looking at connecting you with the right people at the right time. So people from the same hometown as you, people who move into the same city as you. So definitely from the consumer perspective, but at the same time, companies are reaching out to us, and so we are trying to work in parallel as we go along.
So do you think this might turn into a dating app or a let's find someone to live with app, or might it expand in those directions?
I think there definitely will be people who try to use it for other sorts of reasons, but primarily the way that we've designed it is so that we showcase the different aspects of your lifestyle. So in the future, there will be filters to say, whether you're open to dating or whether you are open to finding a housemate. But primarily, we want to show that these are the new people in a new city. They vibe with you because of a certain kind of shared context or experience. And so I guess that would be the initial starting point, and whatever develops after that is not really meant for me to control.
Fantastic. Excellent. All right. Thank you so much, Rachel. It was really cool. I love the colorful slides. And yeah, your details are in the chat box if anybody wants to look at them, and we'll send them out afterwards as well. Thank you so much. So next up we have Marzouk, who is co-founder and CEO of On Market, which is an e-grocery startup, and it supports the grocery market with B2C and B2B tech solutions.
Thank you so much, Jenny, for the introduction.
Okay.
On Market is an e-grocery two-sided marketplace that allows customers to order groceries from their favorite retailers, and at the same time, we empower those retailers to have online commerce. The e-grocery is booming on a global level. That includes the MENA region and Egypt. The grocery market size in Egypt is valuated by $35 billion and is expected to grow from 15 to 20% over the next 3 years. That market attracted more than $150 million investments last year only. Are we another grocery app? Absolutely not. Unlike other players in the market, for the first time, we allow our customers to order from multiple stores in only one order and get delivered at once. On the other hand, we empower the retailers with technology and business solutions to build and sustain their online commerce, like retail management as system and last mile delivery service. Moreover, as a marketplace, we don't have warehouses or stocks, so we are higher in scalability and more agile to expand. Over the past 18 months, and in only one city in Egypt, we delivered more than 20,000 orders with a total of $250,000 GMV, and we achieved a 65% retention rate. We validated our product using MVP back in May 2020. Then we launched our app in May 2021. We closed our pre-seed round in January 2022 with $215,000, and our plan is to expand to 10 cities in Egypt by the end of 2023, generating $6 million annual GMV. That's before going to the $200 billion market in MENA. Our team has solid knowledge and experience in e-commerce and building digital solutions at corporates like Google, Delivery Hero, Volkswagen, and successful startups and scale-ups in Egypt and MENA region to achieve such ambitious goals. We are coming from different backgrounds that complete each other. We're coming from software product management, software engineering, business, and sales. We are looking to raise $1 million in a seed round, 40% to support the marketing, 40% for technology, and 20% for operations. The e-grocery market in MENA overall hasn't been disrupted and has no dominator so far. It's our chance together to change that. Thank you for your time.
Fantastic. Thanks, Tim. That was great. I know when this one came through, we thought, oh, just another marketplace app, selling food. And then when we looked into it, you're absolutely blitzing it in one particular market. How are you going to duplicate that throughout the Middle East or throughout the world?
Yeah, actually, the competition in the Middle East currently, most of the players are dark stores or on-demand model. So we are, and another company, which is InstaShop, owned by Delivery Hero, are the only marketplace in the Middle East. So we are giving more value proposition than InstaShop for the customer by allowing them to order from multiple stores in only one order, and also by empowering the retailers to have online commerce through multiple solutions, either by tech or business. So we are here. We don't compete with the retailers like on-demand or direct stores. Absolutely, we are empowering them to stand against that competition and sustain their online commerce.
Amazing. And do you learn from what we've seen work in the UK or in the States? I know California, they're delivering things, you know, within 2-hour slots. Are you seeing what's working, what's not, and taking the best of it? Or are you ahead in that market? How are things where you're building?
Yes, absolutely. Everyone nowadays are speaking about the Q-commerce. So in terms, regarding to the, for example, to the demand or the dark stores model, they have to build warehouses or dark stores every block or every neighborhood to guarantee that 15 or 20 minutes delivery. So as a marketplace, we have actually a retailer in every couple of 3 streets.
Yeah.
So we would be faster actually when in terms of Q-commerce and delivering in short time.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. Thank you. We've got to move on. We've got a deadline to meet, but that's been really cool. Thank you so much for getting through everything so fast.
Thank you so much.
Right, we're moving on to CurveCatch. Okay, so we have Kimia at CurveCatch, and this is a sizeless marketplace for garments, undergarments, that matches people to browse through intelligent recommendations. AI for lingerie, fantastic.
Hi there. Can you hear and see us okay and see our screen?
We can, perfect.
Thanks. Hi, everyone. My name is Kimia, and I'm co-founder at CurveCatch, which is a sizeless marketplace for undergarments where we match people to browse through intelligent recommendations. I grew up in this space helping my parents in their lingerie shops, and today I fulfill the role of CEO. And my CTO and co-founder, Nils, I can imagine that you didn't grow up thinking you were going to start a lingerie company, but here we are.
No, that's true. But as soon as I figured out that a bra consists out of 54 different pieces and up to 150 sizes, yeah, I was really hooked on the problem. So.
And this is the problem. So undergarments are by far the blackest sheep in fashion. They are one of the least liked categories. They are one of the least online sold categories, one of the most polluting categories, and one of the most physically painful categories out there. And let us explain you why. As a customer, you have 2 options. Either you shop offline like 90% of people today. It's a very awkward, a super personal experience where you're basically naked in a fitting room, or you shop online like 10% of people. The difficulty here is that there's only 20% size consistency between brands. And so as a result, you either buy things and you have to send them back like 60% of people, or you buy things, you never wear them because they don't fit you like many people as well. And so these are the issues that we're trying to solve at CurveCatch. We're offering a home try-on experience where customers first answer a short questionnaire where we get to know them. Second step is we show them items that should all fit them, all without sizes. That's why we call ourselves a sizeless marketplace. And we do this by linking back to our proprietary taxonomy that we're building across brands and products. And third step is you get to try on items at home and you only pay for what you want to keep, giving us feedback on the items you didn't keep. Because of this continuous loop of data that is all ours, we get to recommend customers within 1 or 2 orders the right sizes and the right shape, compared to other marketplaces or web shops that need on average 15 orders. And this is based on data for Zalando. So far, in 22 months, we've done $330,000 in sales with basically no money because we didn't get funded yet, no marketing spend, and basically almost no time because we did this part-time until January. The reason we've been able to do this is because 70% of our customers refer us to others. Today, we're here to raise $200,000 out of a $700,000 raise, mostly to hire 2 more data scientists and developers, and to make sure that we can keep running at 30% month over month, which is what we've been doing for the past 5 months, and launch into 2 markets. We have so much more to talk about with you in terms of this industry and what we're up to, so please reach out. Thanks.
Thank you.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. what an interesting area to be focused on, and it keeps it kind of niche. Do you feel like you might go into, you know, very staid lingerie, or get more racy, or is it always just going to be supportive?
Yeah, that's a great question. The way that we look at it today, we're mostly in everyday products, bras and underwear, but there's a lot of adjacent categories that actually require the same fitting tech. So that would be swimwear, sports bras, maternity bras, prothesis bras once you've had breast cancer, for example, and definitely also the sexier category. So there's a lot of categories. It's a total $63 billion market in Europe and the US alone.
Right, it's huge. And questions coming in here. What are your plans for international expansion across all of the EU and UK?
Yeah, that's a good question. So, so far, all of these numbers have been Belgium only, and we're planning to launch in Amsterdam and Berlin later this year. There's a combination of both demographic factors and other factors that make those very interesting markets for us. And the aim is to first start really across all major cities in Europe before potentially also expanding to the US.
The UK can be tricky at the moment with sending things across if they're over a certain amount. It's got very complicated now we're outside of the EU. Let me see, will your questionnaire be in English? Is that for this? Yeah.
Yes, for sure. It should go live this week, actually, in English. Yeah.
Oh, fantastic. We'll look out for it. Thank you so much, Kimia. That's been really, really interesting, and I look forward to seeing where that gets to. Thank you for presenting. Fantastic. So next we have Purpoised. So this is Sebastian, who is the co-founder of Purpoised, and it offers a digital platform for corporate volunteering.
Yes, hello everyone. My name is Sebastian. I'm the co-founder of Purpoised. Great to meet you all. Now, wouldn't it be great if corporate volunteering would provide real impact? Now, imagine a web designer creating a website for a nonprofit organization to help with fundraising. Or imagine a very motivated employee supporting a underprivileged child and its social mobility anywhere in the world, rather than painting the wall for the 10th time over at a local shelter, for instance, because HR thinks this would make for a great team event. Now, corporate volunteering today is difficult to manage, difficult to implement, but most importantly, it provides limited impact for the organizations that are looking for help and the companies who aim to help. Now, Purpoised is a B2B platform as a service, which allows for corporate volunteering the way it should really be, providing real impact, truly digital and fully measurable. Now, our dream is to deliver 3 million hours of corporate volunteering in the next 3 years, while at the same time supporting companies to improve their ESG scores, as well as to support them in their HR goals in terms of winning new talent and retaining talent. Our platform provides a wide variety of very specific digital volunteering opportunities. We have a smart matching algorithm, which helps us to find the perfect fit for any volunteer based on his or her skills and preference, and depending whether or not the person wants to only provide some time for a social cause, or really apply the skills to support with their professional background. Now, all this is digital, all instantly available, and from anywhere in the world. Companies can track and measure all data around volunteering and seamlessly integrate it into their ESG and sustainability reporting. Our B2B pricing model is very simple and very predictable. We charge a monthly subscription fee of 1,500 euros per 100 users. And we now have several paying customers on the platform already, representing hundreds of active users as volunteers. The opportunity is huge. Our sum in Europe alone is about 74 million annual run rate. And as we now have a proof of concept with German clients, we aim for international expansion. We're currently in the middle of a pre-seed funding round to raise 500,000 euros to be used on further product development and marketing and sales. Our round is quite advanced, but not fully closed yet, and we are still issuing additional tickets. We will also look at a larger VC round in about 9 to 12 months' time. Now, I founded Purpoised with a highly ambitious team of senior professionals with strong backgrounds in UX design, SaaS development, B2B sales, and leadership. And we're happy to answer your questions. Please reach out to team@purpose.org.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. I know we had a great structure in Google for us to be able to go out and do volunteering work, but it was always left down to one person to do it in EMEA. and in my last year there, that was one person in my team. And it's a lot of work. So, any way to automate that or to make it, able to be plugged in. I wonder, does it fit in with HR or benefits tools within big corporate environments?
Well, the plan is to do exactly that. We're right now, and this will be also used, the funds will also be used for that. We want to make sure we integrate with other HR tools that are out there.
Yeah.
And also, of course, allow for download of reporting and tracking and so forth.
Yes. And this is in which markets at the moment?
At which market?
Geographically.
Oh, I'm sorry. This is now right now Germany, Austria, and Switzerland. Our focus is right now on Germany, but we think this is a global issue, and we're looking for international expansion in other markets.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. That's really cool. Thank you for your slides and your time. And as always, contact details will be sent out and will probably be on the chat as well. Fantastic.
Thank you.
Thanks, Sebastian. Okay, so we're up to ARED, our 16th and penultimate company. We have Henri Nyakarundi.
Yes, that's correct.
So he's bridging the storage and computing infrastructure gap, and he's going to tell you a lot more about that.
Well, thank you, Jenny, for the intro. As mentioned, my name is Henri Nyakarundi. I hope you can see the screen. Our goal is to revolutionize cloud infrastructure in the emerging market. There's three key numbers I want to focus on, right? We talk about fintech, edtech, health tech, but we still have 800 million people in Africa alone that are not participating in this digital economy. Less than 1% of the global data centers are built in Africa. And in the next 5 years, around 100 million small businesses will be adding some type of digital component to their business. So we look at this problem and we decided to develop a decentralized cloud infrastructure using solar and edge technology. Basically what it means is we're bringing storage and computing infrastructure closer to the user that it can access even offline via Wi-Fi. But the way we monetize this infrastructure, we're allowing small businesses and developer to build native cloud application on that same infrastructure. Today, we have 385 devices spread into 5 markets. We have 4 key partners we work with. ARED is a B2B company. We recently signed an MOU with Bell Cash for implementing 15,000 of our devices in the next 3 years in Ethiopia. Our team, we have over 20 years experience in technology and business development with a strong understanding of the African market. Myself, I'm a computer science. Babila is an embedded specialist, and Thomas, a financial background. So ARED has won over 10 international award and grants over the years that allow us to develop our MVP, basically. So Microsoft is one of our supporters, Siemens Foundation, and recently Africa 50, all contributed to our product development. And now we're working on phase 2 to raise $1 million of seed round to continue our expansion, develop our tech team, and develop a marketplace for developer to start monetizing our infrastructure. Our goal is simple: to implement 100,000 devices in the next 5 years that will allow us to serve around 5,000 to 10,000 SMEs and developer. If you like what we're doing, please don't hesitate to contact us and check us our website. Thank you.
Fantastic. Thank you, Henri. I know the African marketplace is just so ripe for pushing forward. There seems to be so much happening there. I'm so glad you're bringing the tech to make it happen. Do you think your tech depends on other tech happening, or is this something that can stand alone, or do you think this will actually be something that allows countries to open up and really participate in tech development going forward?
Yes, it definitely depends on other tech. So we're not in a connectivity space. So all of our edge box needs some type of connectivity to communicate with each other. So we work a lot with, telecos, ISPs, and our goal is really to focus on the infrastructure. We not want to focus on developing all those digital applications. It'll just be too expensive for us. We really want to bring a new type of infrastructure.
Yes. And this is something we take for granted. So, in the West, it's just something that's there. So, it really needs to be done. I'm so glad that you're tackling it. It's a big, hard, gnarly problem. George is asking, which countries are you going to focus on first?
So we're currently in 5 markets. We're in Rwanda, Uganda, Ethiopia, Burkina Faso, and Ivory Coast. So our next market is Nigeria and Senegal. So we're B2B. So we work with partners that help us implement the infrastructure with us. And then we develop a revenue sharing structure with the partner. That's the way we operate.
And are there competitors that have tried this already and not been successful, or are there people being successful in doing this, or what's the environment like?
Yeah, so edge technology is a nascent technology. Edge is not, it's not new. Huawei is working on edge technology. Our closest, competitor is called BRIC, BRCK. They're based in Kenya. The main difference with us is we're not trying to utilize centralized cloud infrastructure on top of our infrastructure. We really want to have our own infrastructure, store and compute all the data within the same infrastructure. So storage and computing power is very important for edge. Traditional edge use traditional data centers. They work with data centers. We want to do everything on the same infrastructure, on our own, basically.
That's awesome. Thank you so much. That's been really cool. As always, the details for contacting you will be sent out. Thank you for your time. All right, we have now Thomas Brennan, who is the founder of Making Investment Easy, Accessible and Smart for First-Time Investors. And the company is called Frank. Hi, Thomas. I can see your slides perfectly. I can't hear you, but I can see your slides, so I know you're there.
Apologies. Can you see me now?
Yeah.
And hear me now. Great. Sorry about that. Yeah, I found it really surprising when I learned that over half the adults in sub-Saharan Africa save, but less than 0.5% invest. Yet there's a massive population that's got a median age of 18 years old, and they're all starting their jobs. And I think it's poised to follow the trend towards digital wealth management. So the problems that are currently faced is that there are many friction points. Largely, people just leave their money in bank accounts or in cash under the bed. The asset managers that do exist charge high fees and typically are only servicing sort of the top 1%. And the experience itself is painful, paper-based, and can take a long time. So what do we offer? We offer people free investment advice and free financial literacy education. So through the Frank app, people can get more interest than a bank account. There are no minimums to invest, so they can invest as much as they want, whenever they want. We charge a 1% all-in annual fee, which users pay. So how exactly we work, we are a licensed robo-advisor, and we connect individuals to underlying sort of fund managers. So at the moment, we offer a money market fund, a sort of a cash fund, and an index tracking ETF. And we soon to be offering a crypto ETF. And it's a really 3-step simple process. What's your goal? We do an assessment of how much investment risk is right for you, and then give you access to a sort of a mixed asset class portfolio. Since we launched, we've grown about 5x year on year. And we've just launched our sort of B2B2C, offering investing as a service to distribution partners, where we know there's a lot of money that's sitting idle. We've attracted about R1 million invested through the platform through about 20,000 deposits. I launched Frank with an old friend, an actuary. My background is in engineering, doctorate in machine learning, product management at Google. And with Sebastian, who's got about 20 years in the investment market space, we're really hoping to combine kind of engineering and finance to solve this problem. We've just closed our sort of pre-seed round of $800,000, but we'll be looking to raise a seed round of about 2 million towards the end of the year. If you're interested in learning more about what we're doing, we really are sort of a mission-focused company trying to get a generation of people to invest. My contact information is there, and obviously will also be sent out.
Fabulous. Thank you so much, Thomas. Amazing. So at the moment, markets seem to be crashing. There's a lot happening in the world. There's turmoil in crypto markets. I know a lot's being sent across to Ukraine via crypto and Bitcoin focuses. But how's that impacting? Are you thinking more long term, or is this something that's going to slow you down at the moment?
Not necessarily. Like, I was surprised to learn that, the top, half of the top countries in the world for investing oriented terms are African. Yet, as mentioned, there's an order of magnitude less in terms of investment penetration. So really the lack of access has driven interest combined with sort of mobile technology. Obviously, we offer a no risk investment product, which is that cash fund, which returns more interest than any bank account without exposing the person to risk. So given it's goal-based, the first is an emergency fund, allowing people to at least put some money away, and then being able to kind of look longer term, and then expose themselves appropriately to the right amount of investment risk. So we're very careful and conservative in the advice that we give, knowing that people are coming off sort of a low, not only a low financial literacy base, but oftentimes a low capital base.
Yes, just keeping it simple, but you're not really too affected by global markets and how things are.
The markets will always be volatile, but when you look over sort of 10-year horizons, you typically do see strong investment returns in the equity market space.
Excellent. And so, are you focused on the whole continent, or are you going after specific?
So at the moment, as regulation, we are permitted to operate in 4 countries in Southern Africa. So at the moment, it's South Africa, Namibia, Lesotho, and Eswatini. Our expansion towards the end of the year is looking to partner with or acquire advisors in Southern African countries, and are in the process of sort of developing those relationships.
Fantastic. George asks, what about the license?
So we are South Africa's first robo-advisor. We have our own internal compliance function. As you may know, KYC services have almost become commoditized. So the process is a digital KYC process that allows somebody to onboard and make their first deposit in less than 2 minutes.
Wow, fantastic. Excellent. Okay, I know we've covered the countries. Fantastic. Thank you so much for presenting. And sorry you had to be last. I'm sure people will be able to look at every company once they go online. I think a lot of what we've heard from investors is that they want to watch it 1.5 times the speed and whiz through the ones they're interested in and ones they're not. People have got very used to these virtual worlds where they can see things afterwards. So I'm sure that there'll be lots of contacts afterwards. We'll definitely be reaching out to investors to ensure that you're being put in touch with the right and relevant companies. We definitely want to make sure that those networking opportunities are being made the most of. For that as well, if you want to know different ways to invest in getting help out to the Ukraine, we've got a few different places we can do that as well. If you want to be put in touch with people that are from the Ukraine, then do let me know. I love to network, and I really want to be helpful in that area as well. We're trying to make money, we're trying to do well, but we're also trying to save the world. So whatever way we can do that is very important. So thank you so much for coming along. I know it's late in the day and we wanted to finish before 4:45, so that's perfect. We've had a lot of companies, a lot of information to take in. I'm always here. The best email address to get me on is jenny@exfi.co. If you have any questions, please do try and contact me. I know I am always around and always keen to put people in touch with others. If you want to be able to invest, we're happy to accommodate that within our syndicate. We're also really happy for you to be in touch directly. We're also really happy for you to be coming and giving any sort of support. It doesn't have to be financial. It can be advice. It can be just getting to know the companies, etc. Any interest and any input is always valuable, and all these companies are very open to that as well. So definitely reach out if you can. And I'll send out a feedback form as well, because we'd love to know what we can do better. We want to hone this every time that we do it. We'll be doing the next one in June. We'll probably change things around a little bit, but we hope to see you all there as well. So thank you so much for all your time, for all the effort. I also want to just finally say thank you so much to Lucero Tagle, who was a pitch ninja, also to Tracy Pereira, who is setting up her own company in looking after startups and advising them for how to actually pitch for investments. Both of them have been fantastic. And then Bashak Tamar, who's always done it and has been really helpful with some of our companies as well, just making sure that the pitches are effective, that they get all the information across to you, and that they're succinct. Thank you so much for all your help and input. And thank you to my team as well. We've all pulled together and pulled it off again. Thank you so much, and goodbye, everyone.